So I was thinking, right,
Hmm.
a few days back, and okay, sitting at home, we've been thinking a lot. So, as school students, we had pretty similar school lives, right? We were in different schools, but we did have pretty similar experiences. So, naturally, the kind of seniors we had, everything was the same. So, naturally, the kind of expectations we had for college, or the kind of expectations we had of life once school gets over, was pretty much the same. And it is safe to say that the expectations and what actually happened were pole opposites, but somehow we're not sad or we're not complaining about it. It's happiness, but it's a different kind of happiness. It's not the happiness we expected, but it's still happiness, right?
Like, it's simple. Like, when you say that we had the same kind of exposure and same seniors, I think it's all about the city that we live in and the types of school we go to. We all went to, how do I say this?
Don't say this.
Okay, I shouldn't say it, but we went to similar schools, yeah. And even though they were, like you said, even though they were different schools, they were very, very similar in terms of origin and the way they function. So, in a city like this, it's a very common type of school. In a small city, especially like Coimbatore, it's a very common type of school, which is different from, I would say, school in Bangalore or a school in Chennai. And even the movies that we're exposed to and the media we're exposed to, we create this hype about college when we get into it and the type of stuff we do, especially based on our courses and our stream. Uh, let's not get into engineering because none of us are engineers here, but engineering has the most hype in terms of media exposure, and naturally we look towards entertainment in order to gain our perspective of life. Mine was Bangalore days, and I made a huge mistake. Okay, but I went there. It was absolutely different from what I wanted it to be and what I expected. But yet, as you said, I wasn't disappointed. Even though it wasn't my expectations, it was it fulfilled a different form or a different vision of mine. I was busy throughout college, but I was also having my fun. I was busy having fun, if I could say that. But I was still doing work which was college related, which was still fun. And we had this vision of college which is like, oh, we don't have to study. We don't have to spend so much time trying to work towards our future, but we can just have fun. We can live our best lives. Yet, for some reason, the lives that we are living right now is our best lives, but in a way that is very productive.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting what you're saying. And talking about expectations for colleges, right? As you said, it does come from the city we live in. But does that mean our expectations for college would be different if we were from another city? I don't think so, because even if we are from a small town, we won't experience college until we get to college. And even if you're from like a very big city, we don't experience college until we get to college, right? Talking about that, coming to my point, the expectation, right? When it hits you that it is not right, how do you deal with it? How do you for example, okay, let me give you an example. Let me start off by saying movies have spoiled our college expectations fully, 100%, okay? Because, okay, if anyone from school is watching this, they should know that college is not how they portray it to be in movies. So when you go there and you're like, okay, wait, I can't have all the fun I thought I could have. Wait, I can't just bunk classes and nothing will happen. There are no consequences. What? I can do whatever I want all day. I can wake up and afford to miss classes. What? No, I can't do that. when that hits you, I think many people don't respond in the way that we have, because I have noticed that we, studying in comparatively a strict school, we were able to adapt to college. If we had an attendance limit, we were able to maintain that and all that. I know people that have been pretty disciplined in school, but they had all these expectations about college, right? About how you can have massive amounts of fun and all that. And when they went to college and realized that it wasn't so, they weren't able to take it, and they continued to be the same way in which they thought college would be. So they don't maintain attendance, they don't attend classes, they don't do their assignments, they don't get good grades. They basically just spoil their entire college life. And that I would blame on the expectations that have been fed into us during school. So what do you guys think about that?
I think it classically comes down to what you expect from the movies that you've watched and all of that. It's more of a push. Like we have to deal with it only for 2 years. 11th and 12th is very stressful if you take science. Commerce is also pretty. Yeah, let's not get into that. But it's pretty hard, especially if you're going for all of these classes like NEET and Fiji and engineering coaching and all of that. So you just push yourself through it, thinking that you'll have an avenue of amazing experiences ahead in college after you get there. Like you'll have all of the independence, and all of this that you're going through will be the exact opposite. I think that specific thought makes you work so hard in school that you get exhausted and you get burnt out by the time you even reach college. And I think that kind of hinders us from achieving whatever we want to achieve in college, all of our dreams. And talking about the dreams, we have such ambitious dreams when we come to college. Like you're in 12th and you're just looking at all of these college brochures and all of these admission processes, and you just think about 5 different things that you want to do after you get out of college, or joining so many societies and clubs in college, and you're just so pumped up and you're just so fed up of school at the same time, so that you just want to translate all of this exhaustion into everything you have to do in college. But then 1 week into college, you realize that it's kind of like school. No matter how liberal a college is, there is some amount of restrictions that you will have to face. And I think that sort of really disappoints us, and we start reducing our dreams and just bringing it down to a lower level, and we just stop trying too hard. I think that was a personal attack on so many people who are watching, and sort of like a precautionary thing for all of the people who want to join college. And yeah, talking about the movie that spoiled me, I think I've had my fair share of movies, but I would specifically mention this Telugu movie called Happy Days. In Tamil also it came out as Innidu, I think. Over there, they just romanticize so many things, like going out with your friends, chilling all the time, just having perfect relationships, yeah, all of that stuff. And it was just too weird, and it was like, that's the perfect go-to type of college experience that I would want. But then you come here, you have to deal with attendance and assignments, and grades is actually important, and you just think that is not the case, and all of that. It's not important if you don't let it be, but then you'll have to face consequences. I'll stop being a very buzzkill sort of a person. Let's move on. Yeah.
No, actually, yeah, I think that's a very interesting point that he brings up, that the college that they show in movies is nothing but reality romanticized. That is all. How he said, going out with friends and all that seems to be a very big deal, right, in movies. But honestly, when it happens, it's not that big a deal. It's really not. It's something absolutely normal. And now sitting at home, when you think about those memories of going out with your friends and having fun and all that, yes, it gets romanticized in your minds. But again, when that happens, it's going to be absolutely normal. And that is where the difference between expectation and reality comes into play. The absence of romanticizing anything in reality is something that people will have to realize happens. And that is why real life is not like movies. Now, let's move on to something that I really wanted to bring up before you add on your point, Chella. We are from a comparatively small town, correct? We're not from like a very big metro city and all that. But that's where we went to college, right? We moved to another big city for college. Now, let's forget facts. Let's forget logic. Let's forget being objective. What do you think college is like in a city like ours or in a town like ours? All feelings. Let's forget facts. Let's forget being objective. What do you think it'll be like?
I wouldn't see. You said ours is a small town. Yes, comparatively, yes. But I would say, looking at the way we have grown up and the way we are now, we had sort of an exposure that can be, a part of what it is to be in a big city. And once you come here, people who study here or stay here, we do have a little taste of what it is to be in a big city. And there is a huge gap between what we are doing here and what we want to do and our expectations when we go into the big city as well. I mean, in the end, the difference between how you live and how you want to be is all up to your expectations, right? Like over here, I can like 10 years ago, I couldn't have gone to a mall and watched a movie. I would have gone to a theater like KG or any other local theater to watch a movie. But 5 years ago, when malls came into existence in Coimbatore, which is very late, I would say 2015 is very late for like exposure to a mall if you call yourself a city, especially since Coimbatore is now called a smart city. So in a situation like that, right, you have built up this imaginary vision of what a mall is, and as a 14-year-old kid, when I get into it, regardless of how it was still exciting for me. Oh my god, it's a mall. There's theaters in it. There's popcorn. There's so many shops in one single place that I don't have to go around a bustling street in order to buy anything. And I don't know how to describe this exactly, but the expectations that you have built up, even if they are not met, when you come and face reality, even if some expectations that are really great may not be met and you will be disappointed. But at some level, certain expectations of yours will always be fulfilled. You can never be 100% disappointed when you are changing the way you live.
Yeah, basically you learn to appreciate the beauty in reality. That's basically it. You realize that reality is not like expectations, and you realize reality is reality. It's what's happening, and it's something that cannot be changed. And you realize the difference, and then you're like, yeah, this is beautiful. This is nice. I wouldn't ask for something different. Maybe expectations were like too much. Maybe if expectations actually happened, I wouldn't have been able to deal with it. I think that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, and to answer your question on what you think a college life would have been in a city like Coimbatore, is I feel like the whole diversity element is very varied if you compare cities like Bangalore and Chennai, or Bangalore and Coimbatore. The thing with us studying in a college that has so many people from so many different places is that like we get to meet people, all of the normal stuff, that we get to meet different people, different interests, and you start bonding with them based on their interests and all of that. But I kind of feel that so much is not the case in places like Coimbatore. Not that much, because for the most part we end up having people that studied in the school with us and are from the same town, and I feel like, and we also don't have that kind of an independence if you want to like go all out, not just for like doing the fun stuff, but even if you want to do something for your own, I feel like there's always that sort of accountability that you have to tell your parents every single thing you're doing, even if it's something for your own benefit. I feel like there's just, I don't know, I wouldn't be comfortable doing that, is what I'm trying to say. And like I said, the whole thing about curfew is also a very big thing, and you just get to like go out, you just get to do a lot of things, you get to meet things. I see people starting businesses in like big cities. I don't know if that happens. I mean, I might have a very one-sided opinion, but I mean, it's just my thought.
I mean, yeah, I think that more than comparing cities with cities or towns with cities, I think you need to compare societies, right? Because no matter where you are from, you could be from Mumbai, you could be from Coimbatore, you could be from some other small village. It ultimately boils down to your family and society, right? And the amount of freedom they give you. So I know people like in Coimbatore who tell, oh my God, the world is so small, everyone knows everyone, everything is so interconnected. You guys experience that as well, right? And I thought that was a small town thing, because naturally in a small town, everyone will know everyone. That's what happens. But recently I realized that quite a few of my friends in Hyderabad, even they go through the same thing. Even they think everyone knows everyone, and it's a very interconnected society. And in my mind, I'm like, no, that's not possible. Dude, that's a huge city. You should spend all your life, even if you want to get to know like a fourth of the people in Hyderabad. How do you guys feel that everyone knows everyone? And that's when I realized, like I said, it ultimately boils down to society. Even in Coimbatore, we do not know everyone. It is not interconnected at all. It's just that the circle we choose to make is extremely interconnected. And we talk about open-mindedness also. We talk about how people in Coimbatore are generally not very open-minded, and people in bigger cities or other countries are very open-minded. I don't think it's fair to compare cities in that as well. Again, it boils down to society and family. I could be from a village where my parents are super open-minded and they let me do stuff. And that's basically almost all successful people in our country have from very small places with open-minded parents who let them do what they wanted to do. I think that's where it ultimately boils down to. I think we keep confusing family and society with cities.
No, see, when you think about it, if you live in a place long enough, you tend to know more people by the day. For example, all of us have probably lived in Coimbatore, say for
We're 19, Chella. 19 years.
Okay, yeah, for the entirety of our lives or entirety of our consciousness. So let's not get very deep into it of society or other expectations. And when you live in a place for so long, you tend to adapt to the lifestyle. You tend to get to know more people from the same place day by day. Like, for example, day 1, I get to know you and you know him. By day 2, you introduce me to him. We know each other now. Our circle's grown. Day 3, you introduce your friend to me, our circle grows again. So the longer you live, the more people know you and the more you get to know other people. So let's say, that's why when you say your friends in Hyderabad are saying, oh, everybody knows everybody, that's because they would have lived there long enough, or they know people who have lived there long enough to introduce them to other people.
But do you think a city plays a role, or do you think it is the individual mentality again? Again, we confuse city with an individual, society and family, because you could be in a very small town or a reasonably small town like Coimbatore and still not know anyone, because that's just who you are. You could be an introvert. Your family could be an introverted family. I'm pretty sure there have been people living around me for the past 10, 12 years and I haven't even seen them yet. I know that there are many people like that. Rahul can confirm this because he lives in the same place as I do. We do not know many people that live here because we, when it comes to this area, choose to be introverted and they choose to be introverted as well. So that again is not a very big city thing, I would say. That's not like a small city versus big city thing. That is more of an individual's mindset. Although I would say that a city plays a role in the mindset that you get. Because even if you make like 5 friends in a big city, there is a high chance that those 5 friends have a lot more open-minded friends which influence them, and that in turn influences you. That is not possible in a small town, because what happens is if you have 5 friends and they have 5 friends, those 5 friends are going to be your friends. That quick circle is created. The circle is a lot bigger in other cities, right? Or in large cities. And that is the only place where I see a significant difference between a small city and a large city.
But then that contradicts your point of, a small city, everybody knows everybody. And
yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't contradict. What I'm saying is, yeah, we feel everybody knows everybody because we choose to keep our circle limited. And that's the same thing that happens in big cities as well.
And I feel like in small cities or generally in cities that you grow up in, most of the people you get to know is through a form of compulsion. You get to know people that went to the same school as you. You get to know people that went to the same, live in the same neighborhood as you. But when you go out exploring and you get more independent with yourself and you move to a bigger city, you get the option of bonding with people you want to, who have similar interests as you. You have opportunities or platforms to meet people that might like the same things as you do. I'm not saying those things do not exist in other cities, like not so big cities, but I feel like the opportunity of having such a relationship with people and the society around you is not that great in not so big cities. Let's say in Bangalore you have all of these open nights, you have open mics, and you get to meet people over there, and you don't see a lot of things like that happening around in Coimbatore. And Chala knows a lot of people who are into like the entertainment industry as such, and you get to build contacts that way. And you guys aren't bonded over the fact that you guys went to the same school or college. It's because you have the same interest, you have the same domain of interest. And I think that sort of a platform is very high in cities like metropolitan cities.
Yeah, I do agree with the fact that it's not a point, it's actually a fact that you do get a lot more opportunities in big cities because there are basically a lot more people. And if you have like 10,000 people in your town, the chances that something new is going to be started is much lesser when you compare it to a city that has like 1 lakh or 5 lakh or 10 lakh people, right? There's just more people to start more new things. That's all. That's basically what it comes down to. And yeah, the creative aspect as well, like you said, is there in big cities. But okay, let's come down to this. Okay, I honestly don't know why it's not there in small cities. Why do you think it's not there in small cities? Why do you think we don't start new things in small cities? Like, okay, I could start an open mic in Coimbatore. Why won't it work? Why don't we do it?
Yeah, so the population is not that much. The people who might be into it is not that much. So the possibility of it returning a profit is not that much. All of these things, economic reasons and social reasons, and the whole open-mindedness that we spoke about in the beginning, that's not that much in small cities. And because of which, not so sanskari things will not take place. And all of these reasons, right?
I mean, when you boil down to like, let's get statistical, okay? Obviously, small towns have a smaller population than big cities. And let's say both cities have statistically the 10% of the populations are into anime. Let's say anime. Please don't judge me, but anime.
Anime is trash, guys, by the way.
Sid, please don't judge me. Okay. But yeah, so let's say 10% are into football. Okay. And so when you say 10% again, a big city would have a population of say 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs. 10% of it is what, 4 lakhs, right? So you have 4 lakh people who are potential customers for you. While you come down to a smaller city, I would say, let's say 4 lakhs is what the smaller town population is by itself. Then again, 10% would only give you 40,000. So I think it's more about the commercial aspect of how many people you can reach with the money you have, rather than, and the open-mindedness as well. Big cities do have a larger population which tend to have a larger amount of open-minded people, which again would, who are up to getting into new tastes, who are open to getting into new tastes, even if they are not fans previously. So it's all coming back down to the numbers.
Okay, let's get away from this serious stuff now. We are going to have a business plan created right now on this podcast. Okay, I'm telling you, as and when Chela was talking, I got a very interesting business plan, especially for small towns like Coimbatore. And if we were to start, okay, let's say we were to start something like a house concert, okay? We need 40 people. You think we won't be able to get 40 people in a town, and yet we don't start doing something like that, right? And I think that's where exposure comes into play. And that's where open-mindedness comes into play. The very slight difference between the small town and the big town mindset comes into play right there. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and a very important point which is tied with the open-mindedness is how long you've lived in the city, how long your family has been there. So if you want to start something that's out of the way, that's unconventional, that doesn't adhere to, sanskari standards or something, you are basically restricted to not doing that because of your family background or your family having it. And that's not so the case when it's in a big city where there's everyone else who are immigrants themselves, and nobody really gives a damn about what you want to do because they don't even know you, they don't even care, they don't have the time to care. And I think that opens so many opportunities for you to do something without the fear of being judged. So I think we're pretty much...
Yeah, so basically to conclude, and just to add on to that, I think a lot of people work in big cities, and because of that, they give their children that freedom, or the children get their freedom no matter what, and that helps them do a lot of new things. Anyways, in conclusion, small cities and big cities have differences, but they are differences that can be easily overcome. I think there should not be a very big difference between small cities and big cities. And that's about it for this podcast. Chela, would you do the honors?
Should I do the honors?
Please don't do the honors, guys. We're ending this podcast on a very normal note with no punchline whatsoever.
Then on that, bro, come on.
Please don't say thank you. No, please don't say thank you.
Then on that note, it's time to cut the cameras.